What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to episode 4 of Mix of Six Live. Another awesome six pack coming at you tonight. If you're not already following us, find us at Central PA Pour, wherever you get your podcasts and wherever you're on social media. Got an awesome guest for you guys tonight. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's run through the six pack real quick. First up, we have Hidden Key Brewing Company. Now, if you remember back to one of our very first episodes, one of our first new brewery segments, that is, we had Hidden Key Brewing Company. I believe we picked that up off breweries in PA, or either that or some local news. Anyways, they're out of Greencastle, and I actually was on the phone with Rich this morning, and they had their soft opening, the best drinking night of the year, as most like to call it, right? The night before Thanksgiving. They were also open Black Friday and all of the weekend throughout. So follow them on social media to find out their future hours. They're going to be rolling forward with a soft opening until probably late winter, springtime. So we are looking at meeting up with them, creating some content with them in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. Next up is Alecraft Home Supply. Now, we also featured these guys on a new brewery segment recently, and they're not necessarily a new brewery, but they are going to be new to the York area very, very soon, if not already. But the piece of information that I wanted to talk about with them, they have a basically like a home brewers class going on at their location in Bel Air, Maryland. It's called the Learn to Brew class, going on December 10th. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because, as we all like to talk about, the camaraderie in this whole industry, and you know, a lot of people are really pushing home on the education piece in the side of this lately. Not only for the science of the brewing, also for the business management aspect, and really being an entrepreneur. So I just wanted to give it a shout out to Alecraft Home Supply and their brewing event that they have going on December 10th at noon. And they have that going on every other month, the second Saturday of that month at noon. So stop on down there if you are able. The next one is another event going on locally. It is called Beer for Hope, and they have their second annual charity event coming up this Friday. So this is going to be at the historic acres of Hershey in Elizabethtown. And what's going on here is Aldous Brewing Company. They brewed a beer called Beer for Hope, and it is for Tree for Hope, which is a nonprofit committed to providing a bright future for children and their families in Guatemala and around the world. So that is, again, from Aldous Brewing out of Hanover, and that is a nice coffee brown ale, which has been one of our favorites here at CPP lately. So I might butcher this last one. Not exactly cultured all the time, but I'm actually pissed. I'm going to be missing this next one. It is the Fest, and that is at Round Top Ski Round Top Resort. And Trogs is putting on that event. It is an annual event that they do Saturday, December 10th. And Uller is the Norse god of winter. And this is a Bon party, bloop that one. Bon party style event, outdoors, get the beers going, get the food going, live music, raffles. It's a great time from what I hear. Again, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend. I'm going to be out of state that weekend, but look for that. Put that one on the calendar going forward. So one more stop before we get to our great guest, and that is our Central PA Pour schedule that we've been working on lately. So if you haven't got a chance to check it out yet, we had an episode with Stony Run Brew House. We spoke to Tim and Colton at Stony Run in East York. And we had that episode come out last weekend. And that is a great episode. Give that a chance. The guys also recorded another episode Monday with the awesome folks at the Buy Local Coalition, Amanda and Carmine. And we have been making some great connections lately, and that they're another great organization that gets behind all of the local businesses, and they've created a great network, and they do a lot of things. So go to their socials, give them love, and we appreciate all of their help going forward. So last but not least, a couple Mix of Six live guests for the future. We have Desperate Times Brewery coming up, and we have Steve Goebel from the Goebel Group. And I believe on his schedule, he's talking about Pints and Professional Development, an event he has going on at Tattered Flag. So we got a lot of good things coming up for you here soon at CPP. So again, at Central PA Pour, wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you're on social media, if you see our post, please, tag three friends in it, share it. We really, really appreciate that. We will never be able to repay you for that, man. Shares, likes, all that stuff goes a long, long way. So, without further ado, we are bringing in our awesome guest here this evening. Glenn, how are we doing, buddy?
Outstanding. Yourself?
Great, great. Thank you very much for tuning in, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
So, Glenn, Brewery Tours, tell us where they can find you on social media and online.
You bet. You bet. So you can find us on the World Wide Web at ultimatecraftbeerexperience.com. You can find us on Facebook as well as Instagram and LinkedIn as well. You can find us under Brewery Tours or Ultimate Craft Beer Experience as
Awesome.
well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, from my understanding, I know we spoke previously this year. Go ahead and check out episode 7 on Central PA Pour podcast. You joined us for our St. Patrick's Day episode.
That's right.
So, from what I recall, a couple of your passions came together here, and you launched a business that is currently under the Brewery Trees umbrella, known as the York County Ale Trail.
That's correct.
So, what two passions came together here? Fill in the people.
So there's probably more if you dig down deep into it, but the first one is obviously craft beer. I have been a fan of craft beer for over 2 decades. Whether it's intentionally or part of other trips, I have sought out breweries around this country because I don't just enjoy drinking the beer, I enjoy experiencing the beer. And you don't experience it unless you're there, unless you're talking to the brewer and seeing the brewery and experiencing everything that goes around with it. So that has always been something that I personally enjoyed on my travels running around the country. So, the other part is I have just been I've been a big fan of York. I've not born and raised from York. I've lived here since 2001. I was fortunate enough to play a pretty significant role in the redevelopment of York City. And one of the things that came out of that redevelopment was the very first brewery in York since the 1940s. And since that time, boy, we have grown so far, so much in such a short period of time, going from nothing in 2011 to 31 breweries in York County a little over a decade later. It's amazing. So, you go back to 2017, and at that point, there's probably maybe about 13 or 14 breweries in York County. And I saw the potential, for York. One of the things people always talk about with York is, we don't have that thing. We don't have the battlefield that Gettysburg has. We don't have the Amish, for whatever reason, that Lancaster has, or we don't have the candy that Hershey has, or things of that nature. And I saw what was happening here in York, and I said, you know what, this is really our thing. York County is really special, just not from a maker's standpoint, because York has a rich tradition of just being the maker of this country, whether it's from the Revolutionary period or whether it's World War II or going through the modern industrial revolution. Today, it's beer. So I took that passion of community tied with craft beer, and in 2017, I put pen to paper, over a beer, of course, and started drawing out what brewery tours could potentially be. And fast forward to October of 2018 was when we had our very first tour. So we just recently celebrated our 4-year anniversary of providing exclusive, educational, and entertaining craft beer experiences.
Right. You're not just going to drink beer. You're learning a lot of things about the area, and yeah, the beer as well, because you're getting in there meeting brewers, that sort of thing. So tell
Anybody
us,
can drink a beer.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure,
Yeah,
for sure. So there are several avenues in which they can go about booking a tour, right?
that's right. So the main process is just going by through our website, which is again ultimatecraftbeerexperience.com, and you'll see a variety of different experiences that we have on there. Our very first tour was the original walking tour of York City, which is still a very popular experience that we have. Six breweries in the downtown area today, all within a 1 square mile radius. It's a heck of a concentration. And we have our York County L Trail Brew Bus, which if you haven't been on the Brew Bus yet, man, it's awesome. In addition to that, we got a brew bus for Hanover. Hanover is becoming quite the scene, Snacktown, USA. They got about 10 breweries over in Hanover. And then on top of that, we run our quarterly event with the Northern Central Railway, which I think we're going to be talking about a little bit later.
Let's get right into it.
All
We've got it
right,
coming up on the calendar, right?
that's right. So we have a program that's called Ales on the Rails. And this is something that we collaborated with a little over a year ago with the Northern Central Railway, which is located down in New Freedom, Pennsylvania. Some of you may have been more familiar with it with the old Steam in the History, but they rebranded a couple years back with a name that ties back to its origination back in the 1860s. And they have a really great program down there with a steam locomotive and a diesel locomotive. And a little, as I said, a little bit over a year ago, we got together and said, what if we combine brewery tours with the Northern Central Railway and create an experience on the train? And well, this is our fifth one, and they have just been really, really fun experiences. It's a 3 hour train ride. We've got our beer guides in every car. You're sampling 10 different beers, and
Man,
it's
can't beat that.
beautiful scene, beautiful beer, and a heck of a lot of fun.
Now, what is the destination for this one? Did I see something about South County?
Yeah. So in the past, we always have been doing themes. Like we would do, we would do a St. Patty's Day theme, and we would pick beers that were more on the line of St. Patty's Day. Or we would do a summer party where it would be session beers and fruity beers and things of that nature. We'd even do, a winter one, which was focused more on the porters and the stouts, your more traditional wintry type beers. But this time we are featuring nothing but South County. So we're heading south for the winter, as I like to say. So we're going to be enjoying 10 different beers from South County on this. So it's going to be an epic run.
Wow,
And
that's
we're also doing an ugly Christmas sweater party
oh you
just
can't beat.
because it's not going to be fun enough.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, you can't have enough fun with mixing beer with some ugly sweaters.
Damn right.
So I was always curious, South County, they opened up that destination. But what I was really thinking about here is, like you were saying earlier, there was a lot of new places opening up. When somebody new opens up in your footprint, are they seeking you out and they want to get involved with your business, or is it vice versa? You're introducing yourself, introducing your business concept, and say, "Hey, come on board. We'd love to have you."
Ben, that's a great question. When we first started this out, the concept was really foreign to a lot of the breweries, and when we approached them to, with this idea, a lot of the response was, "You're out of your mind," And today, the breweries are contacting us. It's actually kind of fun. I had every once in a while I'll get contacted by a brewery. I had one from Dewey Beach in Delaware just the other day. Where were they from? They were somewhere out in the Midwest, and I was like, well, we're not quite to the Midwest today, but I appreciate you reaching out for us, and I'll keep your name on the list. But it is fun that we are now we've gained a national recognition for what we're doing, and people are seeking us out, which is a lot of fun.
That's phenomenal, really. In four short years, and half of that was, you know, a pandemic,
COVID,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah. And earlier when we spoke, we were, as we're getting farther and farther away from the pandemic, I guess we spoke maybe 6, 7 months ago.
Hmm.
You were kind of really hoping that the tourist numbers would, start driving back up as we got away from that pandemic. Has that been the case? for your business so
The
far this year?
yeah, the numbers are certainly on that uptick. They're not where we want them to be yet, but they are significantly higher than where they were. People are starting to be more comfortable about it. You know, we're still maintaining all of those safety precautions, sanitizing, keeping smaller groups, you know, and making sure that, you know, people are healthy when they show up on the tours as
Right.
well. So we really still provide that safe environment for everybody to have fun.
Gotcha. I was watching our episode earlier this afternoon, studying some game film. I was wondering if you knocked off that damn shoe this year in the YDR voting. Did
Oh
those results come
man,
out yet?
they did. They did. We
I'm
came
taking
up
that as a
second once again.
to the damn
Once
shoe.
again. Ah, who was it this year?
Oh, damn.
It was I think it was the fairgrounds.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think the fairgrounds, which, you know, hey, you know, if you're going to fall to somebody, it might as well be the fairgrounds, I suppose.
Right.
But
Right.
it was, man, a couple more votes and we would have been right over the top. But I can't complain, you know, coming in second, you know, for 2 years in a row for, as you said, you know, we've only been breathing for 4 years. 2 of those years have been, you know, basically, you know, sitting in front of a computer. I'm not complaining.
Right. Man. So being in the tourism kind of game, and you've alluded to earlier, wanting to really have that economic driver for the area. What is some of your biggest challenges as we kind of get away from this pandemic? Because as we've talked about with several entrepreneurs and anybody really, there were a lot of challenges from the pandemic. Obviously, are there anything that come to mind um,
Yeah,
other than
there's
that?
still there's still a lot of challenges out there. You know, with all of the feedback and the research that's happening today, there's still not a strong desire for people to travel great distances. So the majority of your tourism is regional tourism, which is not a bad thing.
Right.
That's quite all right. It's people doing day trips. So you're not necessarily getting them to come to the community, stay here, you know, spend additional dollars here, whether it's in a hotel or a B&B, you know, or, you know, an Airbnb, spending money at a restaurant, buying some things at stores that really, you know, impact the community. That's what those tourism dollars are. So we're not quite seeing that happen yet. And I think, you know, from a business standpoint, because one of the things that we've been trying to grow is our commercial side of things. So, you know, if you're taking a look at corporate events, whether it's employee appreciation events or even customer appreciation events, still a lot of things are being done virtual today. So,
Right.
you know, I think one of the good slash bad things that have come out of the pandemic is we realize we can do things smarter and more economical, and some of that, you know, is, you know, it kind of hampers the tourism industry because I can stay home and do things instead of physically going somewhere.
Right, absolutely. You mentioned earlier that on the Ales on the Rails trip, you're going to have a guide in every car. How many guides do you have on staff?
We've got six.
6. Wow.
Yeah. Yep, and we're always looking to hire. So, you know, if any of your viewers out there, you know, have a desire to learn about beer, you know, it's just not good enough that you like to drink beer. You know, we, as you mentioned earlier, is we really educate people about beer, and you know, we'll certainly help train, but it's very helpful to have a, you know, a basic foundation of beer, whether you're a home brewer or somebody that has some experience in the craft beer industry, whether as a bartender or whatever. And good people skills always help out a lot because, you know, if our tours are anything, they're fun.
Absolutely. So, looking forward a little bit, is there anything on the agenda come springtime yet? Do you have that next Ales on the Rails booked?
So we don't have the next Ales on the Rails set yet. I would anticipate that's probably going to be either February or March for the next year. But you know, we are actively looking to expand our footprint in central Pennsylvania. One of the things that I'm just really amazed about is Pennsylvania's role in the country for craft beer. We have some great brewers here and we have some great beer here, but we are number 2 in the country for the number of craft breweries, only behind California, which is what, double the size of us, uh, and then for the production of craft beer, we're only number 2 in the country again as well. So it's quite amazing. And, it's easy to take a look at Allegheny County or Philadelphia County, but take a look at South Central Pennsylvania. And when you look at Adams County, Cumberland, Dauphin, Lancaster, and York, that 5-county grouping in South Central Pennsylvania, there's over 90 breweries in a 1-hour radius. It is insane that we are not a national destination for craft beer. I love Asheville, but dude, come check out South Central PA.
It's phenomenal, man. It feels like every month you have a new one opening up, and like you were saying earlier, it's sometimes it's concentrated, like downtown York, for example. You could go out, hop on one of these brewery tours, and you could have an absolute blast. So we got Dad in the comments here. Anything special coming up for Christmas, New Year's in York with the craft industry? Now I'm not sure if he's alluding to Mudhook and their oh gosh, what does he do, Steve?
He's got the cup drop.
Thank you. That's it.
Yes.
Thank you. He was telling us about that. That sounds like an awesome time. We might have to head down there and check that out.
I don't think he's ever dropped it. Did he say?
I don't think he has either.
Yeah.
No. Certainly been tested a couple times, but
yeah, there's been some spillage, my understanding, but yeah,
right.
he hasn't dropped a thing.
Are you involved with anything for the holidays coming up?
We are not. We're going to be taking some time to enjoy things with the family. I will say our tours are running.
Okay.
I know we definitely, because we already had a group book a tour. It's a public tour, so there's still plenty of room left. So we got a tour on New Year's Eve. If people are looking to get a little fun in before the festivities, plenty of seats are available for that. As well as we're running pretty much every weekend through the month of December. So
Awesome.
Feel free to book a seat, charter us. We are open for group charters, so you can plan your own trip, whether it's family, friends, or combination of all the above.
Gift cards as well too. Buy someone you love a gift card, and they can spend it how they'd like.
That's exactly. It's a perfect stocking stuffer. You can get it on our website, ultimatecraftbeerexperience.com. You can purchase them in any denominations and use them for any of our tours, any of our merchandise as well.
I was fully prepared for another Crayola trivia question. So,
I did tell that story, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, man. You stumped me. I was like, baseball bats.
Crayon.
No. Hey, that's all right. Thank you very much, Glenn, for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. We would love to maintain a relationship with you and your business, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, I appreciate that a lot. And I got to say the same for you guys. I have just been really impressed with what you guys are doing. I remember that first conversation. I think you guys booked a tour with me, and it was at Liquid Hero that they said, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this thing." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Because people tell me stuff all the time, particularly after a few beers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, "Well, if you ever get around to it, let me know." And you guys are banging it out of the park. I'm really impressed.
Thank you
The
very much.
breweries that you're having, the conversations that you're having. We need more of this. So there are just so many wonderful breweries. 90 just in South Central PA. I lost track of how many there are in Pennsylvania. It's probably close to 500 now.
Oh, goodness.
So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
so keep telling the stories.
yeah, absolutely. And it's been great providing that platform. And thankfully, a lot of people are great and generous with their time, like yourself, and they're more than willing to sit down with us, whether virtually or at their establishments, or they come to us in the recording studio, and we make some great content. So again, thank you very much for your time, and everybody watching Brewery Tours, ultimatecraftexperience.com on the World Wide Web. Is that correct?
I'll give a plug in there for Matt and Kate. There you go.
There you go.
Watch out for the beers.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. At Central PA Pour, wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you are on social media, we appreciate the love. Thank you for tuning in. Glenn, take care. Thank you very
Cheers.
much again.